Welcome to Whachacha's Tabletop World, a channel devoted to the love of board gaming. My name is Sweetness Whachacha, and today is my overview of Race to the Raft. If you'd like to see a brief video about my thoughts, click here or down below. Race to the Raft is a cooperative game where all players are controlling a group of cats who are trying to get off of an island before it is consumed by fire. It's a spin-off of the very popular game Isle of Cats, which is a competitive game. The game is scenario-based and includes 81 scenarios over 12 campaigns. While gameplay is predominantly the same, there are some additional rules which are unlocked as you go. During the game, you will be using cards to either add pathways to the island or to move the cats along pathways of their colors. As you go, you will also be adding polyomino pieces of fire to the board, trying to do so as efficiently as possible, and to areas you have already moved your pieces out of. The game features limited communication and a scoring system to measure your victory or defeat. To win, you must get all of the cats onto the raft to escape the island. You lose if you can't place a fire tile or it is impossible for a cat to get to the raft, or if you run out of cards or fire tiles to draw. After selecting a scenario and setting up the map from the campaign booklet, you are ready to play. This is the first mission in the tutorial campaign. It doesn't include spoilers, as there are no story elements to the campaign. You will notice the map contains different colored pathways, as well as fire. Each of the colored cats can only move on its own color pathway. The raft, located here, is the goal to reach. The players, as a group, will be moving all cats and managing the fire together. No player controls a single cat. The game features limited communication and a scoring system to measure your victory or defeat. The first step of the round is drawing cards. You can decide which decks to draw from. The backs of the cards show the most common types of terrain featured on them. All players will draw their 3 cards before looking at any of them. The next phase in the round is to play your cards. There is no turn order. Players will decide who goes next. You have 2 options when playing a card. First, you can add a pathway. Just choose one of your cards and place it on the board anywhere you want, as long as it fully covers a square, isn't on top of a fire or a cat, and you aren't playing it under any existing pathways. Then, you will add fire to the island, which I'll explain in a moment. Second, you can discard any card to move a cat as far along its terrain type as you want, provided you can draw a straight line through without any gaps with any other terrain types or fire. Then, you exhaust that cat. Exhausted cats may be moved also, but you will need to discard an additional card to do so. If there are 4 cards in the discard pile, you will remove them and resolve a disaster. Adding fire to the island and resolving a disaster result in the same thing. You reach into the bag and add a random fire tile to the board. It must touch existing fire, and placing it as efficiently as possible is a large part of the strategy in the game. In fact, the efficient placeway of pathways, fire tiles, and timely movement of the cats is basically the whole game, although knowing when and what to say is an additional facet. After each round, you will stand all exhausted cats back up and begin a new round, drawing cards and adding pathways and moving cats until you win or lose. Now, it does include a solo game as well, which plays exactly the same with one small difference. You will draw 6 cards from the decks, and you will be turning 3 of them face up and having 3 of them face down. And every time you play one, you'll be revealing another one of those cards, so you won't have total information over your 6 cards. But other than that, it plays exactly the same, minus the communication rules, obviously. Now, I'm pretty keen on avoiding spoilers anytime that I can. However, with this particular game, there are no story spoilers, and the rules really don't change so much that I feel like this will be a spoiler for you. But if you want to go in completely blind and you don't want to find out any of the other rules, well, you can turn off the video now, but I will be showing you the other small rules changes, and just to give you an idea of what they are. Additional rules introduced in the game are some talk and meow tokens, which adds some more rules to when and how to talk. Water tokens will allow you to remove fire tiles, however, you only get 3 and using them reduces your final score. Then, there are a number of new rules that relate to what order you can arrive at the raft. Some rules relating to cats needing to be close by to each other, an additional new cat that moves on these white lines, and reductions to the amount of spaces all cats can move. And finally, a disaster deck, which will add events that provide some benefit and some detriment, adding some randomness but with some interesting choices. So that was my overview of Race to the Raft. If you'd like to see a video on my brief thoughts of the game, click the link below. Now, I gotta roll.